Hello there and good morning, you unsightly and unwashed peasants. A Tory MP wants a £20,000 pay rise and a Tory lord and retail boss wants more foreign labour. But don't get angry, just bow down and comply with our illuminated political class overlords. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Are people like this so deluded that they actually think their demands are reasonable and resonate with the thoughts and feelings of the rest of the country, at a time when inflation is rising and outstripping any benefit of workers' wage rises? And no, this is nothing to do with Brexit, because this is happening across the globe and particularly in Europe. Are these Tory politicians waking up in a different country to the rest of us and getting presented with completely different news? Well, in truth, they do. Whether they realise it or not, they live in the eternal Westminster bubble and usually mix with the great and good, who are forever whispering in their ears. And that goes for just about all of them. First, we have Lord Wolfson, the boss of the retailer Next. He says that the UK has a labour shortage problem and that we must therefore open the borders to more people. Talking to ITV News, Wolfson said, "When you have restaurants saying they can't serve meals because they haven't got the staff to open their restaurant, something is going seriously wrong in our economy." And as always, the answer is about filling the country up with ever more people. But just look at the news and you'll see the government can't find anywhere for the Afghans to live. They're still in 4-star hotels. So where would these thousands of extra workers live? No one ever addresses that question, and the press never asks. Now, some people will point to the Wolfson proposal where he says that business must be forced to pay imported workers the same as Brit workers, and for the business to pay an extra 7% on those wages to the government in the form of a visa tax to ensure that imported workers are always more expensive than UK workers. Sounds sort of reasonable on the face of it, doesn't it? But it would certainly put at risk any funding for any training budget a company has to train our own youngsters. And how many companies could afford both of those? And it would encourage the government to support more immigration to get more tax out of business. Just what business wants, because more people jammed into the country means more clients and more money flowing into the cash registers, while the shareholders and owners can afford to live in gated communities, gated from the likes of us. The truth is that we do need to go through a proper reset, not a globalist reset, but a reset where the ordinary person is valued properly and we reward the real key workers. So what's this Tory MP been demanding? But before I get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug, with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. So Tory MP and the Father of the House of Commons, Sir Peter Bottomley, has decided that MPs must get a pay rise. According to him, an MP cannot survive on a wage packet of £81,932 per annum, plus all the expenses they get on top of that to support their work. And don't forget that extra £10,000 they could claim for working from home during the pandemic. And all this is decided by IPSA, the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority, to ensure it's fair. But Bottomley thinks they should get more. And talking about the newer MPs, he said, "I don't know how they manage. It's really grim." Now, the median annual wage in the UK in 2020 was £31,461. So MPs already get 50,000 quid more than that, well over twice the median wage, in fact nearly 3 times. And more to the point, life is really grim, proper grim for some folk out there. And with the economic turmoil at present, it looks like their lives are about to increase in grimness. For every 1% grimmer the life of an MP gets, I would guess those at the bottom get it at about 10%. Now the Tories are always on about supply and demand dictating wages, so let's have some of that then. How many applications are there to be an MP? Lots, otherwise there'd be no elections. And if the £500 deposit rule was removed, there'd be, well, probably hundreds, if not thousands of applicants for each MP seat, for the chance of getting £80,000 a year plus expenses for a job where experience and qualifications aren't required. And the attribute you most require is not things like integrity, honour, intelligence or honesty. No, it's just having a rhino hide thick skin. How much pay should that really command? And Sir Peter told the New Statesman that MPs should be on a higher pay scale than doctors. Doctors are paid far too little nowadays, but if they would get roughly £100,000 a year, the equivalent for an MP to get the same standard of living would be £110,000 to £115,000 a year, he said. Funny old thing, but right now MPs and doctors are both just about inaccessible to us ordinary people. All I read about is patients being unable to contact their doctors, surgery phones being permanently busy, no face-to-face appointments, etc. You've all heard it. That's why patients are called patients, because they need to be patient to get an appointment. And I occasionally send an email to my MP and all I get is a standard reply saying that COVID has made them far too busy to deal with me. When there was no travelling to Westminster, no travelling anywhere. And the good Sir Peter's comments come just as the universal credit temporary uplift of £20 a week was removed. In politics, timing can be so important for public perception. Or you come across as completely disconnected from the very people you're supposed to be representing. But there is a debate to be had here. Many people would like MPs to really feel the pinch, but if that were the case, only the wealthy would become MPs, or could even afford to become MPs. And they would, of course, make laws that suited them and their chums, not us ordinary people. It would be a return to the days of the rotten borough. We need top-notch people in Westminster to represent us properly, so maybe a pay rise is needed, but not until we devise a way of clearing out all those party hacks that are only selected to stand and given support during an election so that they can obediently parrot from the party hymn sheet and go through the correct lobby when voting. And while we stay in a first-past-the-post, two-party state, that will never change. So what's your opinion on these two Tories? Please like and comment below.